Well, everyone is doing a collective woohoo because school is out for summer, but that doesn't mean that we can't pick up a good book and read. It's important for children to continue reading over the summer vacation.
That's right. And Tucson Country Day School's librarian Christine Bratton is here to talk about summer reading and give some great tips that may help parents, grandparents, and families encourage children to read during the summer months. Christine, thank you so much for being here.
It's exciting to be here.
It's wonderful. I love that you've brought all of your friends with you today. I think this is great. Now, we really encourage reading in our household, and I want to talk about why it is so important that kids continue to read even over that summer vacation.
There's what they call the summer slide, and that's where kids lose the progress they have made for the previous school year. And so that's why it is super important to keep reading, keep practicing, especially those that are just beginning to read or older kids who are still kind of struggling. They're not quite at their reading level. They need to keep reading. It is so important so that way when they do start the next year, they're not behind.
Now, the parents may say, I know why it's so important, but now the trick is, how do I encourage that to happen in my household?
That's the hard part. It's the hard part. There's so many great programs around town. Bookman's, Barnes & Noble, the public library, great programs where they encourage you to read a certain number of books and you can win or earn a free book. But there's the public library is by far the best place because it's free entertainment. It doesn't cost a penny. You can go there, rent books, movies, audio books.
Absolutely.
Public libraries are just, I don't think they get the credit that they really deserve.
I completely agree. We love our library, but let's be honest, and realistic in this day and age, not all parents have the time to get to that bookstore or the library. Are there other ways that we can motivate our kids?
Make up your own program. Have if you read a certain number of books, you get a treat. You get to go see the movie. If you read the BFG before the movie comes out, then you get to go see the movie. The Little Prince is coming out in a couple months on Netflix. Read the book before you see the movie. Make brownies. It doesn't have to be anything big or fancy or expensive, or just have a family night. Anything to get kids to read. This summer we're having, through the school, a bingo game, and you can download bingo games. Just Google summer reading bingo, and for each of the squares there's fun activities to do, like wear a silly hat or read a book with a number in the title. Read a book that has a blue cover. It just gets you thinking about books in different ways, maybe to go to the library, look specifically for books with blue covers, read those. It's just anything, any way to get kids new ways reading. And another thing too is parents need to read. Children need to see their parents reading. How can you stress how important it is if parents aren't reading themselves? So either read to children, still continue that as the nighttime ritual, or just sit on the couch together, turn off the TV, turn off the computers, read together.
And so if maybe we do have a kid that really just reading is not their thing, or maybe even if we have a kid at an age that isn't ready to read, is there things that we can still do?
Yeah, there's James Patterson, the author. He said there's no such thing as a kid who hates reading. There are kids who love reading, and then there are kids who are just reading the wrong books. So the key is finding those books, whether it's graphic novels, because some kids you say, here, read this book, and it's a huge chapter book. There's no pictures. It's a hard transition going from beginning books to these novels. Read the graphic novels instead, and then progress over to the books. Find out what they like. Minecraft. What kid does not like Minecraft these days? There's some great fan fiction they're the small chapter books up to really thick chapter books on Minecraft, and they're series. So you read one, you want to go on to the next. What else? The graphic novels, I really love those. Even like Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes. Those are great things to get kids started.
Something with pictures, something a little more interesting to look at maybe for the younger.
But they're still reading, and that's the key. And then they don't believe it was a Sunday a comic at one time. They're like, that was in the paper? And you're like,
oh,
yes,
I know.
Back in the olden days.
Well, we actually have a problem where our daughter reads so quickly and is so interested in it that we can't keep enough books in the house. So any recommendations? I see you brought a bunch of books here today.
Yeah, there's a Magic Tree House. There's a ton of those. Wings of Fire, that's a great series that's out. And I think there's there's 7 books, I believe, in this series. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dork Diaries, a lot of these graphic novels like The Smile, and there's a sister one that goes along with it. Those are, they're boys and girls can read, and there's no such thing as a book that's just for boys or girls. You can read anything you like. Let's see, what else? I'm blanking out on all of our books that we have. I mean, there's the selection is incredible. It all depends what your kids want to read. I mean, there's fairies, there's Oh, there's a million of those fairy books.
Well, let's
Yeah,
do a little bit of this or that with you.
Okay.
So books versus movies or books versus e-readers.
Oh, it's always books versus the movies. The books will always win. When
Yeah.
you read a book, it's your imagination.
Yeah.
You can picture the characters, you picture the settings. And when you watch the movie, it's being presented to you. And it's almost disappointing sometimes after you read the book and then you see the movie, you're like, but that's not how I pictured her. That's not quite right. Or they leave things out. There's so many things that were in the Harry Potter books that were left out that it almost was frustrating as you're
Yeah.
watching the movie. You're like, well, what about this? And
Yeah.
it wasn't there. But that being said, the only one that's different, the book that's really different from the movie is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah.
That book has nothing to do with the movie. I mean, it is, I don't know where they got the idea. It's just the
Yeah.
title.
Right.
That's the only one where I say that I like the movie.
You-
But the book is a classic. The book is a classic. It's been around, but I like the movie.
Well, we gave lots of ideas to the parents. We even gave them some books that are coming out, some great book ideas that maybe they weren't thinking about. So this is a great start to get them downloading maybe that bingo or doing a lot of these things.
Yes.
Pop into the public library. We're giving a big shout out to the
Exactly.
public library and the great things that they do for the whole community. So this was perfect timing to have you come visit us. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me.
That is amazing. And for even more details about Tucson Country Day School and their programs, call 296-0883 or log on to tcdcharterschool.com.